Hello, chess friends. Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Here is a beautiful chess composition. It's white to play and checkmate in two moves. And from now on, let's also look at the thought process that you need to develop in order to solve such problems, right? So, if you want, you can pause the video. You should definitely pause the video. This is not as tricky, but I'll tell you exactly what is the correct thought process that you need to build in yourself to solve these problems. I mean, it should ideally not take more than 30 seconds for you to come up with the right solution, right? Specifically, if you know the pattern, here the pattern is quite clear. It's a bishop and queen pattern. It's going to be basically this bishop is controlling the light squares, the queen should be able to control the dark squares. That's all about it, right? It's going to be a simple pattern. We also have a pawn. Perhaps there is a pawn promotion involved. Perhaps it's not necessary for it to be involved. So yeah, or maybe it's just a piece so that we avoid extra alternative answers. So okay, let's start with the obvious move. In this position, you feel like okay, queen e8 seems like a very good move, right? I mean, assuming that he has, let's say he goes to king d6. We do have a mate, which I was trying to explain you. Queen e5 checkmate. The queen actually controls the dark squares. Bishop attacks on the light square. That's a typical queen and bishop checkmating pattern, isn't it? Same thing happens if you go to king to d5. Now you can simply play the move queen e5, and that's a checkmate. So shouldn't it be the answer? There are problems with this actually. King f5 also doesn't work, by the way, because of this checkmate over here. But there's one refutation to queen e8, and that is the move king takes on f6. And although you can promote over here, but that is still mate in 2, not mate in 1 in this position because the king can go to f5. And that's why queen to e8 is not the key move, as it checkmates in 3 move, and our task is to find the checkmate in 2. Okay, specifically checkmate in 2, not checkmate in 3. So let's eliminate this move. It doesn't work because the bishop is hanging. All right, let's look at some other alternatives. There is also bishop d4, right? A very interesting move. The simple idea is, let's assume you go to the f7 square. Now you see one particular idea of having the pawn on h7. You can actually play the move queen f6, which is checkmate, right? Because the pawn covers the g8 square, and this bishop is beautifully covering this square. Looks very much accurate. Why he can also go to e7, but then queen f6 checkmate. He can also go to the move d6. He can also play king d6, but then again this is a checkmate, right? And even king d5 results into this checkmate. Queen to e5, and that's a mate, right? So seems like bishop d4 is a very logical move and should result into a checkmate, right? However, there is a problem, a refutation to this, and that is the move pawn to b2. The king can stay here. He can simply push the pawn, and turns out that there is no particular checkmate in this particular position. There is no checkmate in one here, right? You can give queen f6 check, but then king d5, and you can give queen e5 check, but in that case king f7, right? So king escapes. It's mate in 3, not a mate in 2. That is the problem. So b2, so the problem specifically with bishop d4 is b2. Okay, assuming that, let's go to other moves. Bishop c3 also looks logical, or even bishop a1 in that case, right? Well, here again, we are threatening the same type of checkmate. King f7 results into queen f6 checkmate. King e7 results into queen f6 checkmate. Yeah, king over here results into this checkmate, and king d5 in a similar fashion also results into checkmate with queen e5, right? Bishop c3, a very logical move. However, there's a problem. You can play the move b2, and now there is no checkmate in 1, right? After this queen f6, again the king escapes to the center, and queen e5, the king goes back to f7. So this is refuted, and it is not the key move. Also, the same can be said about bishop a1. Same problem. He plays the move b2 and delays the mate. It's not a mate in 1 after this. And that's why all the solutions are flawed. So definitely it's not bishop e5, d4, c3, a1. The problem in all of these moves is that he can play the move b2. And that's why we should naturally come to the conclusion that b2 is something we need to deal with. Okay, that's the problem. And that's why the key to this problem lies in the move bishop to b2, taking away the option of taking away the option of him playing b2. And now basically, as we know, wherever the king goes is a checkmate, right? King f7 results into queen f6 mate, thanks to the pawn on h7. King e7 results into queen f6 mate. King d6 results into queen e5 mate. At the same time, king d5 also results into this beautiful mate. Typical queen and bishop checkmating pattern, which we already know. So this is the correct thought process of solving a problem like this, a checkmating into. You have to find out, basically you have to consider some moves. Let's assume we consider the move bishop to c3. And then we have to find out what is the exact reason it's not working. Once you know the exact reason, the exact problem, you just try to control that. Here the problem was b2, and that's why we took away that option from him by playing the move bishop to b2. That's a very practical approach to the problem, and that's the fastest way of solving such problems, right? Simply looking for such waiting moves, or even passing the move to him and seeing what he does and how can we solve it. So that's one of the fastest ways of solving these problems. I think with practice you can really do good at it, and at best it should not take more than 30 seconds to solve such made into problems. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such insightful puzzles problems. Until next time, see you guys, bye.